Hello, everyone. So when I sat down to kind of write my thoughts on this community and what it's meant to me over the past 4 years, I came into this terribly hard sort of situation where I realized that I couldn't quite put my thoughts on paper. And when that typically happens to me, I say, okay, what metaphor best can I use for this particular situation? And so I took something from one of my favorite authors, and I'm going to share it with you now. The road goes ever on and on, down from the door where it began. Now far ahead, the road has gone, and I must follow if I can, pursuing it with eager feet until it joins some larger way, where many paths and errands meet, and whether then I cannot say. Roads go ever on, under cloud and under star, yet feet that wandering have gone turn at last to home afar. Eyes that fire and sword have seen, and horrors in the halls of stone, look at last on meadows green, and trees and hills they long have known. We all have different roads that we follow through life, and different challenges along those roads that we must overcome. Sometimes we'll be forced to decide between two different but equally traversable paths. Sometimes we're able to skip and jump down the road because it's beautiful and filled with joy. Sometimes the roads are dark and perilous, and they fill you with despair, and we must suffer through each step that we take. But what is most interesting is that sometimes our paths join with the paths of others. Now, not everyone starts walking down the same road at the same point. And sometimes they start theirs before ours, and sometimes they start theirs after ours, and we just kind of happen to meet along the way. But regardless of where anyone is on their particular journey, or where they are headed, or where they were coming from, or why they're taking that journey, we have the opportunity to connect with them, to connect with those individuals at that one in particular point in our lives. The experience of being connected with people who are on the same journey as you are is where we can really drive ourselves to grow. And that does not necessarily mean that these people are always our best friends. It does not even mean that we need to necessarily get along that well either. But it does entail us to build a community. Christ teaches us that people and our relationships are the most important things in our lives. Not money, not fame, and unfortunately, to my dismay, not bikes. It's not the material things. The objects of true value are those things that are beyond the material, the people we meet, the relationships we build, and the connections that drive us to grow in the truth of Christ. Do you all remember the parable of the servants who were given charge of their master's tenants, his property? They were all entrusted with these talents, these valuable resources, and they were given to them based on their abilities. The master knew how much each one could handle. The reason I mention this is because we are each given gifts and talents that the Lord knows that we can use to grow and do great things with. And we are called by God to use those gifts to grow. What is more, we are given good and bad experiences, and we each have different things that we are good at, such as organization, creativity, and so forth. What is so key about these is even events that shake us to our very core and push us to our limits and beyond those limits are gifts. Every time we meet someone new, every experience is a gift from God for us to continue to grow and to take that talent. And each time He gives us a new talent to put to something else, to continue to move forward and grow. As we walk along our different paths and make connections with people, we find that our gifts and talents and experiences allow us to build that community that God calls us to. And here at the Newman Center, you can see how every individual's talent adds something different. It adds something unique. Each person has the chance to work on cultivating their talents here, to do something that moves them towards the ultimate goal of growing closer to God. The Newman Center is special for so many reasons, and I would need 4 years to truly tell you everything that the Newman Center has done for me, and likely 4 years for each person who's been to this community. this is a community where people who are all at different points in their life's journey, but they come together and they meet regardless of where they are, and they support and encourage each other to become more than who they were when they first came. And this is what's happened to me. And I know that even though it's painful to leave, it's very painful to leave, and it's painful to see my friends leave, I know that here at this community, they've built their talents, and they've helped me build mine. And I know, too, that as this year finally ends, we're not going to necessarily forget everything that we've learned. We're not going to forget how to use our talents, and we're not going to forget the lessons that this community has taught us on how to use them. And so as we all travel down our separate paths from this point on, we'll always remember that one point where all of our paths converged, and we were really able to grow closer to Christ. And I know in the coming years, thanks to technology, we will all be able to meet again. And with every further step we take down from the door where we began, we're going to continue to move to that place, that green pasture that the Lord has waiting for us. Thank you.